Hey, what's up, folks? It's Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, channel that always has your back and tells it like it is. Well, today's video is basically just a simple how-to tutorial for sending your coins from somewhere like Coinbase to a different centralized exchange or wallet. It's actually a really easy process, and that's why I wanted to show you in today's video because I think it makes a lot of people nervous. I kind of view this as sort of transitioning from like a level 1 trader to a level 2 trader. So a level 1 is sort of like somebody who keeps all their coins on the exchange. They buy, sell on the exchange, they stake on the exchange, and that's about it. They don't ever move them. Well, once you start moving coins around, you sort of enter this sort of different space that I would call a level 2 trader. So now you're shifting coins to other exchanges. You're sending them to wallets. You're sending them to a cold storage wallet, a software wallet. You're moving things around. You're staking on mainnet. So it's a little bit more of an advanced concept, but it's really not very hard if you follow a few simple steps. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video, as well as what has sort of triggered this, which was a disclaimer, basically an update to the terms for Coinbase. So I'm going to show you that as well. And then we'll wrap up everything with some final thoughts on where this all sits at the end, okay? So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you click the bell, you'll be made aware whenever I post time-sensitive content just like this. And now, let's get it going. So I wanted to kick off today's video by first showing you all the statement that made some pretty big headlines around the world that was recently posted by Coinbase. This is an update to their terms of service, and somebody highlighted this and basically put it out there to the masses. And so overall, what the statement says is that currently, as of March 31st, they had around $256 billion in fiat currency value within the platform Coinbase. So a lot, right? But where it gets really interesting is down here in this highlighted section where it says, moreover, because custodially held crypto assets may be considered to be the property of a bankruptcy estate, in the event of a bankruptcy, the crypto assets we hold in custody on behalf of our customers could be subject to bankruptcy proceedings, and such customers could be treated as general unsecured creditors. So what they're saying there is if some random fluke event happens, kind of like, this weird Luna thing that transpired, and Coinbase is forced to file bankruptcy, what it means is that anybody who has coins on their platform, they could then take those coins, and then you would have to come after them as an unsecured creditor after the fact to try and get reimbursed for that amount of money. So that statement in itself makes a lot of people nervous. Now, obviously a lot of this is really kind of this legal mumbo jumbo boilerplate language. Coinbase isn't going bankrupt tomorrow with $256 billion in assets. So that's not going to happen. But, this really kind of it timed a downward market, and I think it further tanked Coinbase's stock price when they did this. And so the Coinbase stock has been really low that coincided with this announcement, right? So I think the reason that they do this, it's because they are a publicly traded company within the USA. So that's what makes them completely different from any other cryptocurrency exchange, as far as I'm aware. I don't think that Kraken is publicly traded. I know they're US based. In terms of some of the others, they are not publicly traded. So they kind of operate under a different set of rules. And what everybody out there, I don't know if they understand this, people around the world, even people in the US, is that once a company becomes publicly traded, what that means is that they are entirely beholden to the investors who own the stock, right? And they have to share things exactly like this with the investors So it gives the investors, a sense of comfort that should the company go bankrupt, well, you're not going to lose your investment in the stock that you purchased for Coinbase. Now, who could lose their investment is all of the users of the platform who've got their coins sitting there. So we're talking about two different people. We're talking about people who use the platform for cryptocurrency. They're the ones who could lose their money. And then we're talking about people who invest in the stock coin for Coinbase. That's the name of it, COIN. We're talking about them. It's saying here that you could essentially recoup something should we file bankruptcy, is essentially what this says. And so from this, we had our weekly JASMY call last night. And this topic came up, and it has got a lot of people nervous within the crypto space about, especially if you're holding a large amount of money, do you want to leave it on Coinbase? And the answer is probably not if it's a large amount of money. If we're talking smaller amounts of money, then, it's not that big of a deal. This is just a boilerplate CYA disclaimer. But if you've got, 200,000 in here, 500,000, $1 million, 10 million, 200 million, whatever, that's a lot of money that you could lose should they file bankruptcy at some point in the future. And you never really know, especially, the cryptocurrency industry is so new and it fluctuates so much with volatility. And there's always a scam. There's always a scammer trying to work an angle. And that sort of looks like what led to Luna's death spiral was some scammer manipulation. So could, scammer manipulation affect Coinbase at some point? Maybe. Who knows? The interesting thing with these various scams is afterwards, once we all Monday morning quarterback it, it appears obvious. Oh yeah, well, it was obvious that was always going to happen. But beforehand, there's a few people that say it, and then everybody's kind of like, I don't know, and then lo and behold, it ends up happening. So who knows? But what the point of this video is to show you that if you want to move your coins away from Coinbase, or if they're on any other centralized exchange, it's actually really, really easy to do. And I think when you start in cryptocurrency, everybody's sort of at like a level one, which I would say is someone who simply buys their coins on the exchange, leaves them on the exchange, sells them on the exchange, trades them on the exchange, right? A level two trader, I would say, is moving forward a bit to now you're moving your coins. So you're moving them to other centralized exchanges. You're moving them to wallets. You're connecting through decentralized exchanges, right? And that's sort of a learning curve that a lot of people go through with this whole crypto thing. So anyhow, I wanted to show you today on what this looks like if you were to go to Coinbase and how you would go about moving your coins. So let me go over to Coinbase real quick. So this is my Coinbase here, and I don't hold hardly anything on Coinbase at the moment. I just don't. And the reason why is, quite a while ago, I got real tired of all the Coinbase fees. I got real sick of that, and I moved the bulk of everything that I had on here off of it. So at the moment, I do have some JASMY on here. I've got 130,000 JASMY sitting here, right? So if I decide that I want to move my JASMY and get it off of Coinbase, well, really the first thing you need to know is, where are you sending it? Okay. So as I said earlier, are you sending it to a centralized exchange, or are you sending it to a wallet? That's kind of the two main places, right? Now, for a wallet, it can be one that's online, like a MetaMask, something like that, or it can be a cold storage wallet, like a physical hardware wallet. Either one, okay? So you could do either one of those. And, the difference with the hardware wallet, for the most part, is that typically that is offline. So they refer to that as cold storage. It is not connected anywhere. So those coins are just being stored. That's it, right? So what you need to know is where you're going to send these coins. So in this case, for the sake of this video and this example, on my Binance US here, let's say that I want to send them here. Now, currently, I also very rarely and frequently use Binance US. I'll be honest with you. And the reason why is that I just find it to be a bit of a letdown. In comparison to the regular Binance, regular Binance just has so many features, trading competitions, staking. I mean, thing after thing after thing after thing. There's so many things you can do with regular Binance. And then you come over here to Binance US, and all you can do is basically buy, sell, or hold. There isn't a whole lot else that you can do here. Okay. But for the sake of this example, let's say that you want to move your coins from Coinbase over to Binance US. So once you're logged into your Binance US, the first thing that you want to do is go up here to where it says deposit, right? That's what we need to know for anywhere you're going to send it to is where are you depositing your coins, okay? So when you hit deposit, you can't just say, oh, I'm just depositing it in Binance US. No, you have to find the coin that you are going to be sending to Binance US. So in this case, we're going to be sending over JASMY. So I would say JASMY. And you notice when I did that, it says here ERC20 network. What that means is that JASMY is an ERC20 token, meaning it is built on the Ethereum blockchain. So when you send it, you are sending it on the Ethereum blockchain. You will not be sending it on another blockchain. You're sending it on Ethereum, okay? And so the easy way to do this is it says here JASMY address. So, here's my address. Great. This little thing that kind of looks like some rectangles here, that's the copy button. So you just left click that, address copied. There you go. It's that simple. Then I would go back over to Coinbase. And so now that I'm in Coinbase, I want to select which asset I'm planning to move. So in this case, it's going to be, let's say, JASMY. All right. So first thing you want to do is you want to click on the asset that you're planning to move. And so it highlights the asset. Here it is, JASMY. You want to go into the wallet on Coinbase. And let me say also that anything that I'm showing you right now, I'm kind of showing you the desktop version. You can easily do all this with your phone between the apps. It's the exact same process, the exact same concept. All right. So if you make it over to Coinbase now, there's two ways that you could go about doing this. So you could either click on the Assets tab and you could go down and select the asset that you want to move, or you could click this button up here that says Send Receive, and you could essentially do the same thing. So I'm going to go to the asset here in particular. We're talking about JASMY for the sake of today's video. So once you've clicked the asset button, it takes you to this page here for JASMY and an overview. Now, what we want to do is click on the wallet. So if you go to the wallet, you'll see exactly how many JASMY tokens that you're holding right now. In my case right here, I've got 130,000, right? So I want to go down here then and select how many of them do I actually want to send. Now, depending on who you talk to about this, I would say that you may want to do a test run here, if not two test runs, to make sure that you're doing it correctly. But what you would do is you would end up putting the amount that you want to move. So you can do it in dollar amount, or you can do it in JASMY here. So we can select the amount of JASMY we want to do. Let's say I want to move, I don't know, 500 JASMY. Okay. So if I select 500 JASMY, then I need to go to where am I sending it to? So in this case, I'm sending it to Binance US. And remember, I had copied that address. So now I'm just going to right click, paste it. That's it. So there's my address. So all I have to do now is hit continue, and that's going to send my 500 JASMY tokens over to Binance US. All right. So really easy to do. And this is a very simple process that anybody could do this. It's really quite easy. The main thing that I would say here is when it comes to addresses, when you're dealing with cryptocurrency, is never manually write these down. You need to copy them and paste them automatically. The reason why is, you could get an extra character, you could mess up a character. If any one single character is off, or if there's a space or something wrong, then you're sending those coins to nowhere and you will not get them back. They will be lost forever. So you always have to make sure that you're copying the correct address. So that's why I just sort of auto copy it and then I auto paste it, right? Now, as I had mentioned, you could also send these to something like a wallet. So if I went to something like MetaMask, for example, now I'm currently using Google Chrome, okay? So in Google Chrome, you can add extensions, and that's this little puzzle piece looking thing here, right? So if I decide that I want to send my JASMY over to my MetaMask wallet, I can do that because remember, we're talking about an Ethereum blockchain token, and MetaMask is an Ethereum wallet. So where am I going to send it to? Well, I need to copy the address. So right up here, it says account one. Again, all I would have to do is left click on that square right there, and my address is copied, right? So I can then come right back here to Coinbase. Let's say I didn't want to send it there, and now I just want to right click, paste, and here's my MetaMask wallet. And you notice that it shows up as a wallet here also. It's a wallet icon. So it knows it's going over to MetaMask. And then I would just hit continue. It's that simple to move your JASMY coins, okay? So overall, it's actually a really easy process. You know, if the Coinbase thing has you spooked, or if you simply just have a lot of money in there, or if you've run into issues with Coinbase. I know one of the guys on our call had mentioned that he had run into an issue where they charged him double and then they wouldn't refund him. You know, it kind of reminded me of, you know, I'll tread carefully how I say this, but because I know some of these guys on the call are bankers, et cetera. But you tend to run into problems like this in traditional finance where everything is good when it works smoothly. But if there's ever a hiccup, that's when you really start to see like, well, here's what the customer service actually looks like when you need it. And, you know, the problem that they run into in crypto in particular, especially is that, you know, sometimes they run into a lot of issues when there's a high influx of people in the market, and basically everything just sort of shuts down because there's only so many users that can get through the pipe, right? And they have to kind of just close it all down. And so there's a lot of crypto investors that get really frustrated because when things spike, they want to sell and they can't sell it, or when things are dropping, they can't sell it to get out of it, and then it plummets down to zero, right? So that kind of happens a lot. So you always need to be really careful about where exactly you're holding your coins. Now, my preference for holding coins is I prefer to hold them on something like a main net of a project. That's where they're the most secure. That's where it really makes the most sense in terms of what you're doing with cryptocurrency. That's where you can get the highest returns. You know, you get governance rights, so you can vote on proposals. That's kind of where I really like to hold coins if I'm holding coins in a project. But, you know, your second best option would probably be a wallet, whether it be online or a cold storage wallet. There's a lot of people that would argue that the cold storage wallet is the absolute best. And yeah, there's pros to that for sure, because those coins are secured offline. You know, if you had like a large amount of Bitcoin, then you definitely would want to be holding that offline. Okay. If you don't have a large amount of Bitcoin, then, you know, does it really make sense to put in a cold storage wallet? Well, it just depends on you. Everybody has their own preference. But the point here is that if you want to move your coins, it is really, really easy to do. And all you really need to know is the deposit address of where it's going. So know that address and copy it. Copy it automatically with the mouse. Copy it, you know, on your phone, but do not ever manually write it down and then manually enter it. That is a recipe for getting all of your coins lost, because it's very easy to mess up one character, have an extra space, and then you send those coins and they are gone. That's why I recommend, you know, doing a test run of, well, can I send, you know, 500 coins? Okay, now I'll send the other 130,000 to go with it, you know, something like that, right? So it's a simple process. Hopefully this video made some sense. And, you know, we'll be wrapping this one up in a minute or so with some final thoughts on just kind of the whole Coinbase thing and what's transpired here. If you're enjoying today's video and want to learn more, make sure to visit our website at KIRfinance.com, your one-stop resource shop. Once you're at the site, the first thing to do is provide your email in order to be made aware of future announcements, including blog posts, products, and services. Next, check out the About Me section for a little bit about our mission and how we plan to pay it forward. We also have links to our social media, including Twitter and YouTube. Our brand new Patreon page was also just launched with the website, where users are offered various membership tiers for exclusive content and access. We even have a blog now where I plan to post daily financial articles. There's also a link to our merch shop where we've got KIR Finance product options for the whole family. Our affiliate links are posted for endorsed platforms, just click the picture. NFTs are also available now at OpenSea.io. We have a financial education section, which includes my book on personal finance and soon-to-be course links. And lastly, if you'd simply like to leave a tip, you also have that option, and we'll mention your support in our next video. Thanks for watching, and now let's get back to the video. Alright, so for some final thoughts today, I hope the tutorial was easy to follow. It's really a pretty simple concept. The main thing, all you have to know is where are you going to send those coins, so you're going to need a deposit address. You need to know what blockchain the particular coin is on. In this case, we were talking about JASMY, which is an ERC20 token. But you could have another coin on a totally different blockchain. So you need to know what blockchain it's on for where you're sending it to, okay? Reason why, in particular, with some of the wallets is they are blockchain specific, okay? So you need to send an Ethereum token to an Ethereum wallet. Same thing with a Polkadot token, you'd send it to a Polkadot.js wallet. So that's really important, right? So you need to figure out where you're sending those coins to. And then I also recommend, like I said earlier in the video, doing a test run so you make sure that it actually goes through correctly, it goes where you want it, and you've done this process. It's good to get comfortable with the process before you send a large amount and something bad happens, okay? Now, I didn't say it earlier, but I have run into issues myself, in particular with Ethereum. So there was a point in time where I was minting a lot of NFT tokens on OpenSea, and certain days it was like the network was just sort of clogged up or congested. Transactions would error out. Sometimes it would completely error out and wouldn't work. I had this happen to me recently with one of the coins that, just like JASMY, was an ERC20 token that I was then trying to migrate. And somewhere in the process, it got hung up. I had almost $4,000 that was just lost for over a week, okay? You know, when you lose 4,000 bucks, it kind of, you know, hits you in your side. Every day you wake up, you know, you'll just be like looking off in space and it just hits you. You're like, oh, where's my money? You know, it's like depressing. Eventually, I was able to get through to the project and we found the tokens and they sent it all through and it all worked out, thank God. But I have heard a lot of horror stories of people that they go to send tokens, it never shows up. Well, why didn't it show up? Was it a network problem or was it a problem that you put in the wrong address? That's why it's absolutely critical that you copy it with your computer with the mouse. You hit the copy button. I am not talking about manually copying anything. Never, ever, ever do that, okay? Reason why is you can mess up a character, you can miss a character, you can, you know, capitalize something that wasn't capitalized, you could have a ghost space at the end of it, whatever. Don't ever manually copy. So you always want to auto copy it and then auto paste it, all right? Now, if you're sending from Coinbase, you know, it's super easy to do. All you need is that deposit address, whether it be Binance US, you know, or another centralized exchange. You know, let's say you wanted to send it to KuCoin. Let's say you wanted to send it, you know, somewhere else. Let's say you're around the world and you've got the full Binance. Well, you know, send it on over there, okay? Because the full Binance has a lot of features. And, you know, I don't necessarily want to keep dogging on Binance US on this channel because I really want it to work out. I really do. But, you know, the problem is that when the full Binance left the US, they kind of took all the features with them, and then they basically gave us like a shell of what it was. So there's not a whole lot that you can do with Binance US. But in terms of, you know, their security, would they ever do to you what Coinbase says they could do? Probably not. And the reason I would venture to say that is that they are not publicly traded here in the US. So again, they are not beholden to those stockholders. Whereas Coinbase is completely different. And this is how it is for any company that's listed on the stock market in the US, is once you do that, in a way, it's kind of like making a deal with the devil. They do it to get a large influx of capital, which is good. But after they get that influx of capital, all those investors now say, hey, you need to deliver and you need to do it quarterly and we're expecting you to. And so everything depends on their results. Everything depends on pleasing those shareholders, okay? And that's exactly what it looks like Coinbase is doing, because they're saying, hey, shareholders, in the event that we go bankrupt, well, we're just going to confiscate all these assets and then we could liquidate that and you would have something back. Whereas the actual users on the platform, theoretically, per that statement, would then get nothing and would have to sue them for those assets as an unsecured creditor, where you would basically, be trying to get a lien or whatever you can, some sort of judgment against Coinbase to then recover whatever you can down the road. And there are statutes of limitations that go with that, okay? So that's kind of the gist of this entire situation. Me personally, as I mentioned earlier, I really don't hold a lot of coins on Coinbase or Binance US, either one. I don't know. Binance US is very feature-less. It just doesn't have any features. And then Coinbase, I found, seems to have a lot of fees, but it's easy to use, right? So usually, I'll buy something on Coinbase and then I'll move it somewhere else, okay? So me personally, as I said earlier, I like going to things like mainnets. That's why I keep pushing for JASMY to do a mainnet, because if they had a mainnet, I would much rather put my coins into the JASMY wallet for the JASMY blockchain and then stake it on the JASMY mainnet, and then you don't worry about any of this stuff. Then it's all straight through JASMY, which is ideal. So I think that's the way of the future, hopefully with JASMY, that they are doing their own blockchain. I know they're working on wallets, so hopefully that's around the corner, and hopefully it transitions away from Ethereum at some point. And then really all you would be doing is, if you're picking up on Coinbase, you'd just be buying there and then sending it elsewhere. So that's how the process works. Hopefully the tutorial is easy to follow. If you got any questions or concerns, definitely leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to respond on exactly how this works. Like I said, you can do it very easily also with your cell phone between the various apps. Again, it's the exact same process, same concept. You just need to know where you're depositing it to, get that correct address, copy it, paste it, and then there you go. Really easy. All right? So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit the like button. Don't forget that I'm also on Twitter at KIR Finance, where you can find me tweeting and retweeting on a regular basis. Check me out there. And lastly, for a friendly reminder, this is Jesse with Keeping It Real Finance, channel that always says your back, tells it like it is. I will see you on the next one. Later.